Greetings, SA. Welcome to DokDee.com. I am DokDee. I will be your host for today. On today's episode, we'll be talking about HIV and AIDS, exactly what it is, how it's acquired. We'll be giving you stats pertinent to the South African setting. We'll also be interviewing the Mkhize brothers from Good Stories, an HIV/AIDS initiative.
Yeah. Right. So
bringing us to our last question, or second last question, I think.
Okay.
Is that what is your take on HIV AIDS campaigns in South Africa? Are we winning? Can we do more? If so, what should be done?
My view is that there's a huge drive on two things. There's a huge drive on prevention, and the government says it's better. Prevention is better than cure. Sure, there's a huge drive on prevention. There's a huge drive on distributing ARVs, the medication. Realistically.
And of course, wait, before you continue, the third one is that there's a huge HIV AIDS awareness, educational programs, etc., one of which is yours, right?
Yeah.
So there's also that front.
But realistically, though, if we look at the history of where we come with this virus and the fact, and I always say this, and I don't know if you've got time for me to explain it, a lot of us are HIV damaged, okay? And we don't realize it.
What do you mean by that?
Okay? We've had so many negative experiences of HIV, and in two ways. What we were taught, what we were told through some of the campaigns that we've run in the past, and our personal experiences where our loved ones have actually become like the pictures of the people that were in the campaigns that we saw on those billboards, those skinny dying people. When those two worlds come together, it creates a perception of what HIV/AIDS is. All right? But what we've never done is we have never had a campaign to actively try and change that, to take that image out of people's minds.
Okay. Got you guys now, right? It's a start.
As a start. So I do think that we need to work more on people's psyche around HIV and AIDS, how they view it, how they experience it, okay, how they foresee it, how it impacts their future, right? And that's all in the mind. So my thing is that the medication that we're distributing is not going to have the desired effect if I am defeated in the mind. Because there are a lot of people that take the medication, but they still think they're going to die.
Yeah, and they don't understand why. Like, what is the benefit of actually taking
exactly.
it?
Okay? And there are people out there who don't want to go test because they're like, I don't want to be boxed. So we need to change the psyche.
That's the
exactly.
idea.
You know, we need to change the psyche around HIV and AIDS. And once we change the psyche, then people will be more open, one, to having the conversations, two, to actually going out there and testing, because now they are open to the conversations. So for all these technical elements, great, but there's something that's missing, dealing with the mind.
I mean, I, for one, my recommendation would be perhaps, I know we as healthcare providers, during our consultations, be it through the testing process or through initiation of treatment, or through family counseling as to how to deal with HIV and AIDS, we actually assist patients in terms of understanding what it means to be on, what it means to be diagnosed and what it means to be on the treatment as well. But that's where it begins and ends with us. Once they're out in the communities, there's no follow-up from us in terms of, do they have the support structures to ensure that they continue to remain compliant on medication, they psychologically healthy to continue on this journey of a positive diagnosis. And I think we need to see a lot more collaboration with the healthcare fraternity, and as well as campaigns like yourself in terms of, from a discharge perspective, there's a referral center.
Yeah.
There's a place and a point where they can actually be followed up and supported. So there's definitely
there is that disconnect, because essentially what's happening is that you pulling this person out of a community that has certain perceptions,
That isolates them as well. Like, you're different to us. You know.
Yeah, so you sort of change and you mold this person, and then you put them back, and they feel overwhelmed because they have been changed, but the world they live in is still the same. So which is why our campaign is actually directed to everyone, whether you're living with HIV or not. We all need to have the same understanding of what HIV/AIDS is.
The or not point is quite important because we believe in prophylaxis, so prevention rather than treatment. Okay, so not prophylaxis, prevention rather than treatment. So you educate people around how not to get to that point. So you don't actually you're not only dealing with treatment patients. So I like the fact that there's a combination element with your campaign. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you so much,
right?
Doc.
But before we end off, right,
okay,
I'd like to hear about some of the good stories. Ntokozo?
Okay, what do you
Some of
know?
the good stories. What have you guys encountered in terms of the people that you
I think
come in
one
contact with?
of the good story. that's a word. It's a word now. We've got a guy.
We've just created a word. It is the 20.
Yeah, it's a word. So we have a guy who was born with HIV, and he is 35 years old now. So literally, what this means is, at 33, if I find out that I'm HIV positive, and if he's lived with HIV for 35 years, then that means I make it to 70. Then that means
you can actually die of old age. You
yes,
live
so I
the
have
life
a chance.
expectancy for
I
every
have a
other
chance, so
human
that
being.
means I can still chase my dreams. It means I can still do the things that I really wanted to do, and I can still have a family.
Exactly.
I can still do so much more. And if he's 35
bucket list
today,
as well.
if he gets to 40, then my benchmark is 40. If he gets to 50, geez, my benchmark is now 80. So the more he lives, just like the more hope I'm getting about what this world is literally going to be. And with medication and the way that it's going today, he's going to live a really long time. The reality is, people say this all the time, if you die from HIV or HIV-related illnesses, it's because you wanted to.
You heard that, guys, right? You heard that, because HIV is a treatable and a manageable condition. Okay, it's not curable, but you can actually manage it and live a good and healthy life. Guys,
can I just say something about the cure, though? I think
we should say yet.
Yet. So I engage with so many people that look forward to the cure. I look forward to the cure. And a lot of times, the people that are looking forward to the cure actually do not appreciate how far we've come right now. Because if this thing can be in such a way that it doesn't actually even exist, you can manage it.
It's undetectable.
And it's undetectable, then maybe you don't need a cure. You know, and people are like, yeah, I'll wait for the day when we get a cure. Maybe, and then they are failing to appreciate the fact that it's as good as we've got a cure now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we don't have a cure, but it's as good as.
So that's an important point to run home.
Yeah.
It really is. I like that.
Cool.
And that's a good story too, actually.
That's a good story
That's a good story too. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me on the show today.
Thank you so much,
It was
Doc.
really a pleasure. You guys are doing great work. Keep it up.
Thank you so much.
That brings us to the end of our episode. But thank you for joining us on DokDee.com. If you liked our episode, be sure to press like, share it with friends and family, comment in the comment boxes below. If you want to find out more information about good stories and DokDee.com, check our website and social media pages out. Till next time.